Why do you still feel empty, even when everything in your life looks fine? You have a roof over your head, a job, friends maybe, you laugh sometimes, you post pictures with smiles, you do all the things you're supposed to do. And yet, when it's quiet, when the noise fades and you're left with only yourself, something feels missing. It's not sadness, not really. It's not even pain. It's something more subtle, a void, a numbness. A quiet ache that hums beneath the surface of everything. We don't talk about this kind of emptiness because it's hard to explain, harder to justify. How can you feel hollow when the world sees you as whole? But this is where the truth begins. Emptiness isn't a sign that something's wrong with your life. It's a sign that something's disconnected inside you. We've been taught that happiness is a checklist. A degree, a career, a relationship, a house. But what happens when you get those things and still feel nothing? Society doesn't prepare us for that silence. It prepares us to strive, not to feel, to succeed, not to understand. So we fill the void with more scrolling, more work, more distractions. But the emptiness doesn't go away, because it's not about what you have asterisk. It's about what you've lost asterisk along the way. Let's go back. In the 1940s, psychoanalyst Viktor Frankl, a survivor of Nazi concentration camps, wrote about a concept he called the existential vacuum. After losing everything, his family, his freedom, his future, Frankl realized that what kept people alive wasn't comfort. It was meaning. He observed that even in the most brutal conditions, those who found a reason to live, an inner purpose, were more likely to survive than those who didn't. Now think about that. Today, we live in a world obsessed with comfort. Everything is designed to be easier, faster, more convenient, and yet, mental health disorders are rising, depression, anxiety, disconnection. It's not because our lives are harder. It's because they're emptier of meaning. We've replaced reflection with productivity, silence with stimulation, depth with dopamine. Psychologist Carl Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And that's exactly what we do. We avoid ourselves. We keep moving, keep consuming, because to sit still would mean facing the truth, that the life we built may not be the life we needed. This isn't about privilege or luxury or being ungrateful. This is about being human. Emptiness is not a defect. It's a signal, a message from the deepest part of you that something is misaligned. Something essential has been silenced. Maybe it's your creativity, your sense of wonder, your capacity to feel deeply. Maybe you buried it to survive. Maybe it was never safe to express, but it's still there, waiting. We live in a culture that tells us to chase validation instead of truth, to be impressive instead of whole. So we build identities around what others applaud, and we abandon the parts of ourselves that feel inconvenient or slow or unsure. That's why so many successful people still feel lost. Because success without authenticity becomes a prison. We weren't made to live in performance mode. We weren't made to measure our worth by metrics and milestones. We were made to connect, to feel, to belong, not just to others, but to ourselves. When's the last time you asked yourself what you really want? Not what your supposed asterisk to want, but what your soul longs for when the world isn't watching. That question terrifies us, because deep down we're afraid the answer will undo the life we've spent years building. But what's the cost of ignoring it? Look around. So many people walking around like ghosts, smiling but empty, achieving but lost, talking but never really saying anything. We are starving for something real. In 2012, a study found that people preferred mild electric shocks to sitting alone with their thoughts. That's how disconnected we've become from stillness, from discomfort, from ourselves. But here's the thing, that emptiness you feel, it isn't here to punish you. It's here to wake you up. It's a whisper from the part of you that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. It's a call to return, to stop performing, to start being asterisk. So how do you fill the void, not with more, but with less pretending, less numbing, less running, and more presence, more honesty, more courage to feel what you've buried? It's not easy. You'll have to face wounds you've ignored, truths you've avoided, grief you didn't know was still living in your chest. But this is the path back to yourself. Sometimes healing looks like breaking, like unraveling the identity that kept you safe, but never made you whole. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to know the answers. You just need to stop lying to yourself. Start there. You don't feel empty because you're broken. You feel empty because the most authentic parts of you have been neglected. Bring them back. Talk to your inner child. Make space for your pain. Let go of the need to be impressive. Be real instead. Emptiness loses its power when we stop fearing it, when we sit with it, listen to it, learn from it. It's not a void, it's a mirror. It reflects everything you've forgotten in the noise. And if you're brave enough to look, you might just find the piece of you that was missing, not out there, but within. If this video resonated with something deep inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more content that dares to speak the truths we often hide from. Take a moment, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what have I abandoned to fit into a life that doesn't feel like mine? You might already know the answer, and that's where healing begins.